Have you ever heard of a place where imagination weaves tales of terror and folklore? A place where shadows dance to whispered secrets and the very air carries chilling ghost stories? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most famous and terrifying legends in American folklore, the legend of Sleepy Hollow and its infamous headless horseman, the haunted valley of Sleepy Hollow. In a quiet, secluded glen nestled among rolling green hills and dense forests lies a place known as Sleepy Hollow in New York State. Its name alone suggests a peaceful slumber, as if inviting eternal rest. But beneath this tranquil surface lies centuries of tales and superstitions passed down through generations about ghosts and unexplained phenomena. This area, settled by early Dutch immigrants, was renowned for its eerie atmosphere. Locals believed the valley itself was haunted, convinced that the spirits of Hessian soldiers who died during the American Revolutionary War still roamed its grounds. And among all those spirits, one stood out to become the most terrifying legend of all: a headless rider. The terrifying headless horseman. Let's meet the terrifying protagonist, or rather antagonist of our story, the headless horseman. Legend has it he's the ghost of a Hessian trooper who fought for the British during the American War of Independence. In a fierce battle, a cannonball blew his head clean off. Since that fateful day, his cursed spirit has haunted a specific road in Sleepy Hollow, relentlessly searching for his lost head. Imagine the scene. On dark nights, when fog envelops the valley, you hear the thundering hooves of a large black horse. Then he appears, a horseman without a head, sometimes clutching a pumpkin he's plucked from the cornfields to serve as a makeshift replacement for his missing head, his eyes burning like embers in the darkness. Is he a spirit seeking eternal rest, or a curse that haunts anyone who dares to enter his world? Ichabod Crane's arrival into this mysterious atmosphere arrives our story's protagonist, the new schoolmaster, Ichabod Crane. Ichabod was no brave or strong man. He was lanky, tall, with sharp features, and he relied on the kindness of the villagers for lodging. But what set Ichabod apart was his endless fascination with stories and superstitions, especially ghost stories. Ichabod had heard tales of the headless horseman countless times, and despite his immense fear, he couldn't resist them. He spent his nights alone, reading old books about legends and witchcraft, which only fueled his vivid imagination and made him more prone to fear and anxiety on dark nights. A love triangle and rivalry, but Ichabod didn't come to Sleepy Hollow just to teach and listen to stories. He fell deeply in love with the most beautiful girl in the valley, Katrina Van Tassel. Katrina was the sole heiress to a vast fortune and possessed captivating beauty and irresistible charm. Ichabod dreamed of marrying her and inheriting her wealthy father's estate, which would transform him from a poor schoolteacher into a prosperous lord. However, Ichabod wasn't the only suitor for Katrina's heart. There was a formidable rival, Brom Bones. Brom was a strong, brave, and well-liked young man with a great sense of humor. Brom was intensely jealous of Ichabod's attempts to win Katrina's affection, and he would do anything to embarrass or scare him. Brom often used local ghost stories to instill terror in the timid Ichabod. The fateful ball and the gathering storm on. A crisp autumn night, the Van Tassel family hosted a grand ball at their home. Ichabod was there, dressed in his finest attire, hoping to win Katrina's heart that evening. Ichabod had a wonderful time, dancing with Katrina and enjoying the hearty feast. During the party, Brom Bones and his companions began to tell the most terrifying tales of the headless horseman. They described frightening encounters with the phantom and how he appeared on dark nights. Ichabod listened intently, and despite his terror, he couldn't resist these stories, which sowed fear deep within him. The chilling ride home after the ball, late at night, Ichabod mounted his old horse, Gunpowder, and headed home. The darkness was thick, and the valley's trees cast eerie shadows on the road. The ghost stories he'd heard still echoed in his ears, and every sound, every gust of wind, struck terror into his heart. Suddenly, Ichabod sensed something behind him. He turned to see a huge figure on a black horse, but stranger still, this rider was headless. Instead of a head, he carried a dark, round object on his saddle pommel. Ichabod realized his worst nightmares had come true. It was the headless horseman. A frantic chase ensued. Ichabod screamed, urging his horse to gallop at top speed. The headless horseman's hooves pounded the ground behind him, drawing closer and closer. Every time Ichabod looked back, he saw the phantom approaching, with that chilling pumpkin he carried. The final encounter and mysterious disappearance. The chase reached its climax at a small bridge, said to be the spot where the headless horseman vanished. Ichabod felt a flicker of hope, thinking that once he crossed the bridge, he would be safe. But when he reached the bridge, the rider did not vanish. Instead, the headless horseman raised the object he was carrying in his hand. The phantom hurled the terrifying pumpkin directly at Ichabod. It struck him square in the head, and Ichabod fell from his horse to the ground without uttering a sound. The headless horseman paused for a moment, then vanished into the deep darkness, leaving Ichabod alone in the cold night. The next morning, Ichabod's horse, Gunpowder, was found wandering riderless. The villagers searched for Ichabod, but all they found was his torn hat and a shattered pumpkin on the ground near the bridge. Ichabod Crane was never seen again. Speculation and enduring legacy. What happened to Ichabod Crane? Did the headless horseman carry him off to the spirit world? Or is there another explanation for this mysterious end? Some speculated that Ichabod might have simply fled the valley after losing Katrina's affections, or perhaps he decided to start a new life elsewhere after such a terrifying experience. However, the villagers, especially the older ones, were convinced that the headless horseman had carried him away forever. And most interestingly, Brom Bones, who later married Katrina Van Tassel, tended to smile mysteriously whenever Ichabod's name was mentioned. It's said that Brom himself might have disguised himself as the headless horseman and thrown the pumpkin at Ichabod to scare him away from Katrina for good. Conclusion: whether it was a cunning trick by Brom or a true encounter with a specter from another realm, the legend of the Headless Horseman and Sleepy Hollow has deeply rooted itself in American folklore. This story has inspired countless works of art, from films and TV series to novels, and has become a symbol of classic horror. To this day, tourists visit Sleepy Hollow, attempting to sense the mysterious atmosphere of the valley and perhaps hear the whispers of the autumn wind carrying tales of a headless rider still searching for his lost head. What do you think of this legend? Do you believe the Headless Horseman is real, or is he merely a brilliant figment of Washington Irving's imagination? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more chilling and exciting stories. See you in the next video.